I got an issue.
All right. Well,
Good morning.
Good morning. It was late. We got started late, and then I didn't realize it was late. So I'm sorry, but Teresa, look at Teresa's cool shirt.
I'm ready for the sale.
It's warm. It's a little warm today, but she's sacrificing for fashion.
Yes, that's right.
That is so cute. So is it like a dog?
Yes, it's supposed to be a dog.
Oh, it's really
dog
cute.
face.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Good morning. We want to let you know that our sale is continuing, which I'm glad you're wearing Halloween.
Yeah.
So it's through the 31st, and it's 31% off all of our fall and Halloween themes. There's a couple exceptions, Acorn Lane and Spice, but everything else is on sale. And I want to let people know that we're getting kind of down to the bottom of some of our inventory. So we're going to do our best to fill your orders 100%, but we might have a couple things that are out of stock. Sometimes our inventory is just messed up, and I don't know why, Teresa.
I know.
But it's a great time. We're starting to move the store around, and we need to make room.
Yeah.
So 31% off fall and Halloween. And we'll have to remember that at the end of the video, too. So we will see what we can do. Okay, the other thing we want to show, oh gosh, a fly just came by. Our fly is back. The other thing we want to show is this Saturday is the Annette Green class, and we have a couple kits left. And the class is live on Facebook in a private Facebook group. And your kit is going to come with that really pretty red sidekick, leather sidekick planner album. I can't speak. It's what happens when I realize it's 9:35 and we're not here yet. And then I just get messed up. And then you have the paper pack, Christmas Field Notes, which is really cool. We have flipped through that in the past. And you get a stamp set. And which has got, I like that photo log. It's got the name, place, and date where you can write things down. And then you're going to get some pages for your album, and then you get this die set. And it's got one of my favorite things this Christmas, which is candy canes. I like them more to decorate with than to eat. I'll go with the chocolate if I'm eating.
Yeah.
So Cheryl's asking if all the Merrymakers have shipped, and they should have. Okay, I'll get back to that. So the Annette Green class is this Saturday. Yes. If you've got the kit, be sure and get signed up on the Facebook page. If you still want a kit, they are, is it $89.99, Teresa? Or
yes,
so $89.99 for the album, the stamp, the die, the paper pack, the pages, and the class with Annette Green, which is, I always say, would be a great way to learn a little bit about the planners and how to make your planner albums.
And it is, I took one of her classes, the summer kit, and it was super fun. And I finished it, and I just have to put pictures in it
then
now.
You have your album already.
I know,
to go.
It's really nice.
Now, if you are worried that, gosh, it's Saturday, I'm busy, I got plans, I'm going to a Halloween party, or I won't have my kit yet, you can always watch it later, and you can go back and watch it and stop it and watch it and stop it if that helps.
She goes at a pretty good clip, but she usually has homework that you do ahead of time and inking. And I went back. I watched some of it live, and then I went back and watched some of it later. So yeah, it's a good way to do it.
You could do either.
Yep.
Okay, Cheryl asked about the Merrymakers kits.
Yeah.
So Cheryl, I think everyone that wanted their shipped has been shipped, so please call us here at Memory Bounce so we can check out and see what happened. And Teresa, I want you to know that Marty said I need the thin peppermint sticks dipped in chocolate. Well, that sounds really good.
I've never had that. That does sound good.
It does. Anything
There's your
with
chocolate,
peppermint
Kelly.
and chocolate. There you go. And they love your shirt.
Oh, good.
And Donna says Annette Green's classes are fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Kimberly's husband is home. Kimberly, I'm so happy your husband is home and recovering. We wish him a speedy recovery. And let's see if I think I've caught up, Teresa.
Look, we got a Halloween card.
And it's in a black envelope with washi tape
so
on the back.
Cute. I peeked a little bit. Oh, have a spectacular Halloween. Oh.
Okay, check this out. Oh, that's the Tim Holtz die. I don't know if we have any of those left. If we do, it is 31%. Oh, and that's the stencil.
She used the stencil. A Haunting We Will Go. I love that. And she used the mica sprays too. Oh my gosh.
I think she's been watching our videos.
Oh, she used it on the back too. What a good idea.
It is.
I always get spray on the back of mine, not on purpose.
So you might as well do it on purpose.
Yes,
and then
I
you don't have
love
to worry about
that. And she oh
and
my
that's
gosh.
From Sharon?
The dead rise again, bats fly, terror strikes and screams echo for tonight. It's Halloween. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you. That's really sweet. You know,
Very
we do a
cute.
lot of card making and demos, but it's kind of cool to actually receive cards.
It is. When someone uses what we show, it's
Teresa,
great.
you're going to be laughing. I am batting at a fly.
There's a fly. I
And
see
he
it
was
landing
right-
on you. I'm
he
like,
was right
oh,
on
get
my
off of you.
glasses, right
Yeah.
on the lens of my
It was
glasses.
on your hair before. I didn't like
my
that.
God, I can't stand it. Okay. He needs to fly over to Diana. Diana's over here. This is her position. She's pricing because she's a super fast pricer. There's a fly over here that wants to come and see you, Diana. There he is on my fingers. Oh my gosh.
He likes
Okay.
you.
All
You're
right.
so sweet.
Well, I'll deal with the fly silently. I'll suffer in silence. And Teresa, tell us what we got going on today.
Well, today I'm going to challenge you guys to do a gratitude album, mini album, tag album. Yes. And we got these tab tags. It's really hard to say. Tab tags. And I know Maggie
Tab
showed
tags?
them, yesterday, and we sold out of them once, and we got more in, so we've got plenty now. There's $7.29, and there's actually 21. Mine had 22. I don't.
You might have 22.
I
if
counted
you're lucky.
multiple times. I don't know, but the package says. I would think that's what 21X means, but
I would think so.
so this is what I'm going to use to do a gratitude mini tag album this November. And so I've done, I was going to bring gratitude, some of my past ones, and I forgot.
Well, you can.
That's okay.
You
I'll
still
bring it
can.
another time. An inspiration later. But I thought it would be fun because I saw these and I'm like, what could I do with that? They're so cute. And you could use them on scrapbook pages, or geez, you could just stamp on it and send it to someone or put it on a gift or whatever. But the tabs are just the cutest, and I am having fun stamping on the tabs.
I'm just getting it now. Tab tags. So
Yes.
they're not just tags.
No.
They're tags with tabs.
Oh, and the other part of the challenge is to try and stamp. I left that word out, Kelly.
stamping?
The stamping. It's a really long word. The gratitude stamping tag challenge. Yes.
All right, we left it out too.
Yeah, that's all right. If you need to, you can use stickers or whatever. But the idea is to get your stamps out and your inks out and to stamp what you're grateful for. And it's not going to be every day. So 21, 22 is about the weekdays. So if you can do one every day, maybe take an hour, sit in your craft room, or you can catch up on the weekends. I think it's very, very doable. And they don't have to be elaborate. The other thing that I'm going to use is...
They're going to be really fun to look back on.
Yeah. And because I'm grateful for different things. When I do look at my gratitude albums, things change.
It does change, yeah.
So the other thing that I'm going to use is the Elizabeth Craft Alphabet Stamp Set. And I guess it's CS312.
Well, here, we can show it in... Oh, it's just called alphabet stamp.
Yeah, so...
But Janet can find it. So,
Yeah.
But the cool thing is it's got the stamps, and then it has some other little lines and dots it's got the stamps. It's got the letters and the numbers, and it's stamps.
Yes, it's stamps, and it's $12.99, and it's a very distressed alphabet. I'm really liking
it. Looks
it.
like Tim Holtz. Something from Tim Holtz.
It's a good size, so you could use this on scrapbook pages, on cards, or on the tag. So I'm going to use this for my main words on every tag, that whatever I'm grateful for on that tag. And then the other one I'm going to use is the Photo Play Say It With Stamps Inside Out Fall Thanksgiving. And I'm going to make some cards with this stamp later in November, maybe some fall and Thanksgiving cards.
Oh, we're going to see it again.
Yeah, we'll see this again. I've been using it. It's $15.99. This one is not on sale, but it is a good fall stamp. Again, Photo Play, headed out of the park with some different sentiments.
Their inside out stamps have been really good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot on there.
Yes.
So those, what you're saying, Teresa, is those are going to be 2 things that you're going to use throughout
that
the
I'll
month.
see throughout.
And then you're going to add other stamps. And
Then the other thing is I'm going to add, oh my gosh, he was flying right toward, made me go cross-eyed. I'm going to use other stamps, and I will, a lot of the stamps are just stamps from my stash, and I have no idea where they're from, so don't ask me.
Well, and the idea is to get out your stuff.
Yes.
Get out your stuff and use
Yes.
it.
There will be some stamps that we have, and I will tell you what those are. But if we don't have it, I'm not going to talk about it.
She's going to avoid the subject.
Yes, I'm going to avoid the subject.
Teresa, we have a comment here that they're missing Janet on the morning videos. And so what I forgot an announcement, so if you don't mind if I interrupt, because I'll forget by the end of the video. This afternoon, if you're in Merrymakers, Janet is going to be here, and she's going to be doing the cutting guide. So she's going to be taking all your paper and showing you how to cut it, and you can cut right along with her, because she's actually cutting the paper for Merrymakers. So
you can do your homework.
Yeah, and do your homework and get organized and get ready. And she'll show you all about that, and it starts at 1 o'clock Central Time. And you can watch it later. So if you're not, if you're busy or you're working or taking a nap, I don't know why you would take a nap instead of watching Janet, but she will be here. And if you haven't got a Merrymakers kit, Janet can link it here. It is a weekend. It's really more than a weekend, because it's starting up, and we're doing introductions of all the instructors. It's 6 classes that take place November 10th and 11th, and it's a kit filled with like $200 in products. So we'll get a link here so you can learn more about it.
Okay.
And if you are missing Janet and you're in Merrymakers, come on this afternoon and we'll see you then.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, Teresa.
That's okay. The other thing I'm going to talk about today is ink, because I discovered these. I'll just get this one. This is my.
Let's see yours.
This is my album. So these are
They're
really
heavy.
thick tags. So they are perfect. It's not watercolor paper. I don't know what it is. It doesn't say, but it's very heavy. And when you do your smooshing on it, it's going to go back. I mean, it's so thick that it stays nice and flat. But there's one thing about that is when I was stamping on it, no matter what ink I used, archival, distress, oxide, it stayed wet. And so I took my trusty heat tool and would dry in between stamping. And a couple times I forgot and I smushed, which drives me crazy, but you guys probably wouldn't even notice unless I'm like, see right here, I smushed. No one's going to notice in years. I won't
So you're
notice.
saying with this project you will need like a heat tool.
Yeah, if you're going to stamp on your tags, you're probably going to need a heat tool. And now I will just tell the difference, because since I'm talking about inks, I thought I would talk about
have one.
Yeah, the 2 different heat tools. And so I didn't have a heat tool for a long time, and Tim talked about it forever. And finally I broke down and got one, and I love it now. I have it plugged in all the time. And so it's quieter.
So a heat tool versus, because that's called a heat tool,
this
but
is
like
called a
an
heat
embossing.
tool, but this is more for embossing. So this one, I don't know, it gets hotter, and it will melt your
powder,
embossing powder. Yes, when you do it.
So the heat tool's more of a dryer.
Right. So this is $29.99 and this one's $31.99. And we have a variety of the embossing tools. They're pretty much all the same. They last for a really long time. We just have the one Ranger heat tool. And it's really, I've really found it to be good. But you could use this. Just be careful, because when you're heating it, you don't want to burn your paper or get too close.
Just keep further back. If that's
just
what you got, then use it.
Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to show my some tags first, and then we'll talk about the inks, okay? So this was the cover of my album, and I did use the sketch leaves on the front
which
there.
are 31% off right now.
And we have a couple of these left. I had to search to find them this morning.
There's the other leaf stamp from Tim.
Oh, the blueprint one?
There's that, and there's I think there's last year's skeleton leaves or.
Oh, yeah.
So should we ring the bell? We'll have somebody get those for us.
But you don't have to put a leaf on the front, but you can. I thought it was a nice fall gratitude, and the big leaf that I keep using over and over. I only need the big leaf.
She's only used. Well, the thing
No,
about
I use
these
the other
is
ones.
you could. There's no dye to go with these, but you could stamp these or smoosh them and then fussy
You
cut
get the other Tim Holtz
them,
leaf
and
stamps.
you could lay them out on your table, like down the middle of your table or for decoration.
Oh yeah, and we stamped them on the bags, and that was fun. So I had fun.
There's a lot of stamps on here, Teresa.
Yes. So this one is from the fall set that I told you.
From the
And I thought that was a good way to start. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. And then that's my alphabet. And so I just stamped, you can put them on your Misty and see how many, I mean, that gratitude is a big word that fit all the way across there. So it's the perfect size.
They look like maybe 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
The letters on the stamps, the Elizabeth Crafts alphabet stamp.
Yeah. And then these are just some circles that I had from Tim Holtz's circles. And you see there's a little script that I added. That's from a Tim Holtz stamp. And then I just decided to put the year and a couple leaves and then November because that's what we're doing. But you can put whatever you want on the front. I just thought it would be good to have a cover instead of just having one of my tags.
Just starting. Yeah, I like that idea. Here's the blueprint stamp. I think there's still one other leaf stamp, don't you?
There's what?
One other leaf, big leaf stamp. But there's the blueprint. Teresa and I both love these.
I like the blueprint. And that
or you can put
we
a
have
nut
that
on
in
the
a
front.
small one too. All right. So I'm going to tell you what I do, my process.
Yeah, let's see it. You got quite a pile there, Teresa.
So the other thing that I did when I started this is I think about what my gratitude is going to be for the day. What am I grateful for? And then I took the cover. This is your cover. Don't throw it away.
Oh, okay.
And I laid it down. And then I would start, I would put my words out. I would find whatever stamp that I was going to use here. So my next one I'm going to do is I'm grateful for date night. So my husband and I...
You have date night?
We do. We usually go out to dinner on Friday nights. And,
nice.
And a lot of times it's just us. Sometimes we'll go with friends. But I thought I really enjoy that. It's the end of the week. It's something to look forward to.
It is kind of a nice Friday night
It's
thing.
just things. So this one says, I'm so thankful you're a part of my life. So a lot of them, I put the word right in the middle. So... then I would get my alphabet and I would start writing date night is what I was going to put. And then I had pulled out some stamps. I thought I might do some dates somewhere and a ticket would be good. And then I had these cute little, a spoon, a fork, and a knife.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember... what was that one? Oh, it's a really old company, not October Afternoon, I don't know. But I had these, so I might lay these, I don't know, I might the other thing is to remember where your tab is. So I was going to pull out one and decide, okay, is my tab going to be in the top, the middle, or the bottom? Figure that out. And then this one says, sit, eat, enjoy.
So you went through your
I went through my stamps. So I gathered all my stamps together like this.
Okay.
I went through my stamps and I'm like, ooh, I might use that. Oh, I really like...
And then you just put them all...
Maybe I'll use some stitching.
Maybe put them in one of those clear boxes.
Yes, and I did. I put them in a box. And then I start pulling stamps. And then I just kind of... This one says better together. Oh, and there was a you plus me equals. And I was going to put better together. And then I had a little tiny fork and plate.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know
have no
where I
idea
got
where you
that. I know. And so then you just start laying them out. But do remember your tab. I found this spoon, and it was a lone spoon. Oh, I know. It was with a Get Well set that had soup. So there was only a spoon.
I'm trying to figure out.
I'm like, why is there only a spoon? And surprisingly, that spoon fit right on my tab. I'm like, that is perfect for the tab.
Oh my gosh,
so you don't have to put your date on everyone. I'm finding really fun, creative things to put on the tabs, and it makes me happy. I don't know why. Well, when that spoon fit on there, I was like...
So here's her tabs here that she's done, and she's going to show us, but just to give an idea, she's got a date here, but here's a book and some dog bones and a postage mark. So
another
you can
date.
do lots of things on your tabs. This is going to be so fun.
So just get creative with how you're laying out, your stamps. And you don't have to fill the whole space. I'm going to show you one. The first one that I did, I had to do the breast cancer one, and I didn't fill up the whole space.
Right.
If you don't have stamps to fill the whole tag, you don't need to. You just say what you need to. So I had Just Celebrate, and that was a Tim Holtz stamp.
That looks like that one with all the phrases.
With all the phrases. I have it here.
I don't know the name of it.
Simple sayings. So, I was just looking through my stamps, and I'm like, oh, that Just Celebrate. So that's what I'm doing.
So anything you might use, just pull the whole stamp set and put it
and make a pile.
Put them together and make a pile, because you never know.
Yep, this was a number. Then I used our breast cancer stamp. It's clear over here.
Come on, Teresa, you can reach. This is an exclusive to Memory Bound, one that we had designed for cancer awareness.
And I know not many of you, well, you might need it for something else, but I know there's other survivors out there. And then, of course, I had the stitching. That was just a fun filler. You got to think about fillers, too, for spaces.
Oh, I love that stamp set.
And you know what? I didn't use the alphabet on this one. Wow. Huh.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And you can add die cuts or
stickers. I'll show you the one that I'm doing a sticker. And then I had a little banner. And then look, I used my mica sprays. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
It's so pretty. It turned out so pretty. And I did smush this one.
At the top.
Yeah. I just love a little spray on there. And then, oh my gosh, you guys, you know how I love the date stamp? You're going to go crazy, but we got a different date stamp. Heidi Swap has this date stamp.
Oh,
and can you see it's like
it's in her handwriting.
And then, I have the other one, which I like, but this one was just so much fun. I couldn't resist buying it, and then we ordered more. And I was like, I really like that.
You can use that on your scrapbook layouts.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I usually stamp cards when I send a card.
It's $7.99. So that I just kind of grouped. I just made a little square in the center. Here I put some dots down there. I don't know. I don't know if I used this stamp.
What about this gratitude? Is that from that stamp?
No.
Well, she might not have used that one.
Yeah. I went rogue on this one. Okay. All right. Now the next one I'm going to show you. Oh, does anyone recognize these stamps?
So this is all stamping. Well, that reminds me that the new Elizabeth Crafts, is that what it is? They're all back in stock. So
they came back in, you guys. Remember, I told you that I bought it. Correspondence from the Past one. I love stamp things. And so it's back in stock. And I am grateful for the post office. I give thanks for. And that was that in here?
Well, there the word post office is, she's using the Elizabeth Crafts alphabet and number stamp set.
Yeah. And the other one that I used is the holiday postmarks. And that's that Christmas one that I get out every year.
I know. Well, and it's not all holiday
either.
A lot of it is.
Well, because the postmark I put on the tab, I just love that. Yeah. Again, it fit perfectly. I was like, no way. There's a big one and a small one, and the small one fit perfectly on there. And so I just arranged it. Oh, I was so excited that to use this envelope I just thought that was
And
so
she's got it
cute.
going
You can
off.
see it right there.
Well, Teresa, I think it seems like very unusual that you're thankful for the post office, and I think we all should be, but I never thought about that until you commented about it.
You have to think of different things. I mean, I've done gratitude albums before, so I've done a lot of the basics, and you'll probably see the basics, like I'm grateful for my family and that. But as things pop up during the month, like one time I did a gratitude album and the electricity went out, and as I sat there in the dark in my craft room, I was like, I'm grateful for electricity. And so I did a page on that, which I never would have guessed. You know, you don't think about it until you don't have it sometimes.
Right.
And so you have to sometimes dig a little bit deeper. But I am grateful for the post office because I love getting mail. I love getting letters. I collect stamps. And I don't know what we would do without the post office.
I know.
What I would do without the post
plus
office.
You send a lot of cards.
I do.
It seems like we're having a hard time finding the Heidi Swap date stamp.
Oh.
So I'm putting the number right here, and we'll ask Janet to link it for us.
The other thing is, I picked 3 or 4 colors for each tag. So on the pink one, that was easy. My cover, I just used green, peel paint, and vintage photo. And that's what I used, is peeled paint and vintage photo. I only used 2 on that.
So
but
I used to have it like a theme, a color theme.
Right. The pink one was easy. The post office, I thought, when they're really red and blue, and so I used Chip Sapphire and Stormy Sky and then Lumberjack Plaid. So I used 2 different blues and then the black, and probably I'll use black a lot just as a pop color on my cards. But yeah. Oh, and I found this little tiny envelope. You know what, you guys
never know what you're going to find.
Yeah. What if you guys ever did planners? For a while, planners were really popular.
Yes.
Katie did a lot of planners. I did too. I bought a lot of planner stamps, and those little stamps are perfect for this project. So get out, if you have planner stamps, and I had them in a little, remember yesterday when Maggie was talking about those little 4x6 photo holders?
Oh, yeah.
I have my planner stamps all in a little thing.
There.
And I pulled that out and I was like, jackpot.
I was going to say jackpot too.
Yes, it was a jackpot. So I was so excited to do that.
Now,
so,
Teresa, you haven't mentioned this yet, but you told me when we were talking about this project that on the back of your tags,
yes,
you're going to journal and put photos.
Yes.
So
right now I just have Post-its that say what colors of ink and what products
so she can tell us.
So when there's questions. But yeah, I'm going to put photos on the back, or I'll write something about why it's important to me. You don't have to do that, but I think that
and
it's a good thing
Barbara
to
said
do.
you could also, it's funny, Cheryl just asked, what are you putting on the back of the tag?
Yes.
Barbara also said you could also have double the amount if you have a lot of things to be grateful for, and then just do the backs with some other theme.
Yeah, definitely. Just be careful. Like I already got some spray on
She's going to be using a brown on the back of that one.
Yeah. All right.
They're talking about they put UPS instead of the post office because of all their
their
Amazon
deliveries
orders. And Diane
maybe
said
you're
she's
grateful
the
for Amazon
Prime colors.
Yeah, you could still do the postage. You would need a little truck, a little brown truck or white truck.
That'd be really cute.
I'll show you one more, and then I'm going to come back, or we'll post other pictures.
Teresa will be checking in.
Yes, to show you other ideas to keep you going and inspired. I know it's not even November yet, and I started to get ahead so that I could show you guys what I'm doing.
Well, plus it's something you kind of get ready for.
Yeah.
And Dana also gave the suggestion, Teresa, you could use the backs for next year. And then you'd have 2 years. So there's so many ideas.
Yeah, these are very heavy, so you could use it definitely. All right.
Oh gosh, this is a cute one.
Is I used Crazy Dogs, and we are out. I did order a couple of those, so there's a couple coming. Oh, look at my set. I just stuck them all back in there. They're upside down and everything.
Oh, they
this
look
one's
good.
called Crazy Dogs. It's a Tim Holtz stamp.
It's a classic.
Yes, and it's a few years older, and I am grateful for my dog. And so I just thought,
But you have a lot of stuff in there in between.
Yeah.
Like walk the dog. There's paw prints. I am so thankful for you.
Dog park.
Is that must be off?
yes, that's off of the stamp set.
Okay.
And then dog, I just stamped on there. That's with the alphabet. And then the little bones, that's from
That's
a different
so
set that
cute.
fit right. But all these little words, those were from my the planner stamps that I had.
Okay.
I had a little dog set for planner, and yeah. And then I made a tag. This is my dog's name, Thor. And so I thought that would be cute.
So you could put
So
other
you could
things-
add other
yeah.
little tags and things along if you need something extra. I thought that was appropriate for a dog one. But you can do, my point is that you don't have to do all words. You know, if you like flowers, if that's what you're
Yeah.
grateful for, your garden, just stamp a background of flowers. And you don't have to do all the words and everything. Just say grateful for my garden or whatever. So, all right.
Well, I do.
I've
love
got
it.
a
I
couple
do
more,
love
but
this.
I'm not going to show those. Those
Oh,
are for later.
suspense.
Yes, those are for later.
So if you're just joining us, Teresa is sharing her. Can
I'll
you
flip
say
it
it
to the
again? It's got a long name. Your gratitude stamping tag.
Tab tag album.
So it's a project. It's a in November we're
People
with
do
Thanksgiving,
gratitude
we're doing-
albums.
People do gratitude albums.
Yep.
And we all kind of think a little bit more consciously about what we're grateful
Yes.
for. And here's a project, and it is kind of cool to actually get those things down in a writing or in a project. And I have one that I started last year, and I was going to try to do it every day, and I'll admit I didn't, but I do enjoy looking back at the
Yeah.
things. And they are different, like you said, Teresa.
And you could ask other people, you know, if you have children or a partner or grandchildren, you know, ask them, what are you grateful for? And then you could do one with them and put their picture on the back.
that would be great.
And I have other ideas, you know, people in your life, what makes you smile, maybe something about music or a song that's important to you, a hobby or activity. You'll probably see that in mine.
Probably.
Something, senses, maybe your senses
yeah.
or some part of your body. Kelly, you're probably going to be grateful to walk.
I
when
will
you
be
get
very grateful to be on 2 feet.
Yes, or maybe you're grateful for scooters. I don't know. Some item in your home. You know, maybe you're grateful for your oven. I don't know. When your
Well,
oven breaks
yeah.
and you don't have it, then you're grateful for
Exactly.
your oven. Yes. Something in nature, or maybe the seasons, things that make you laugh. Maybe something about your town or the state or even the country. Food. Maybe your
Makes me
favorite food
happy.
or something. Yes. Something that you saw, guilty pleasures. If you go onto Pinterest, there's lots of gratitude journaling prompts.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So you can look at those. I mean, there's just lists and lists. And so that's just some that I was thinking about for myself, but there's lots of
and
things.
there's a couple comments here, Teresa.
Yeah.
Letha loves the idea, and she's thinking about making a book with stamps and have everybody write on it at Thanksgiving and sign up what they're grateful for.
That would be really
Which
cool.
would be really neat.
Yeah.
Michelle is grateful for her oven. They're in the middle of a kitchen remodel. Oh,
See?
good point.
When you don't have it, that's what happens.
And then Tracy, it makes a good point that kind of hits home with me that as you get older, I think you maybe focus on more what you're grateful for and your thoughts, and getting them in writing is more important. So she's really happy that you're doing this. And I totally agree with that. Maybe you think about things more.
Okay. Any other questions about that?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
I know some of you have already gotten the tab tag.
I know, it's such a weird thing. But
Is it tab tag?
They are tags with tabs. So that's why they call them tab tags.
Yes.
Because they couldn't be tag tabs.
No.
They have to be tab tags. So when I saw these, I just thought they were so fun, Teresa.
They are. I might have to get another package just for extra. Just for extra.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so because I was stamping with these and using different inks, I thought it might be a good idea. We've talked about doing this before, about telling you
requests for it.
Yes,
so this is awesome.
Telling you about the ink. So I made little samples that we'll have here in the store, and I'm just going to go through some of the inks today. So we use the Distress inks a lot.
We do.
And this is Distress inks. Tim Holtz are Distress inks.
They're dye inks? Is that what you mean?
Yes, they're dye. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, it says it right there. Dye inks. So dye inks are inks that are dissolved in a liquid, like a water or some substance, to create the ink. And dye inks are, water-based, and they absorb quickly into the paper. So when I talked about stamping on this, even the dye inks didn't dry right away.
So
there must be some coating or something. You need a heat tool. But on most papers, like when I stamped this, I used aged mahogany to stamp on this. It dried right away.
Yeah.
It soaked in right away. The Distress inks are dye inks, and they're perfect for adding a vintage look to papers, and they react with water, and they're bright and more transparent than the oxide inks. So people always ask, what's the difference? What's the difference?
Yeah.
So you can see that even when I stamped this one twice. I inked it twice and stamped. You can still see a little bit of white in the paper.
And those come in a mini size too. So
yeah,
that's
I didn't bring any of those over.
Kind of the nice thing. You can get more colors if you want, because this is the full size pad, and then they come in. What would you say? It's maybe 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, in little cubes too, and they all can be re-inked. We do sell the re-inkers for those.
Right. So last week I was talking about the archival Distress inks, and these are also dye inks that we were using on the bags.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yes. So this is the Fire Brick. And again, you can see that you can still see, I only stamped that one once, and you can see that you can still see a little bit of the thing. The difference between the archival and the Distress is that the archival are fade resistant. Okay, so they're going to last longer.
They're more permanent.
They're more permanent. And won't deteriorate or bleed. Yeah, they're not gonna bleed. And you can use them, with other mediums. So you can watercolor over them. That's what we typically do. Or you can stamp them on top of oxides. So
and you did that in your book?
This is what I did. So when I did the smooshing, I used the peel paint green to smoosh the background.
Distress. The peeled paint Distress?
The oxide.
Oh, the oxide.
I used the oxide.
Okay.
Let's see if I can.
Teresa, while you... okay, go ahead. Remind me to make this comment.
Okay. So I smushed with the oxide because I like the way it looks, the chalky look.
And it's water reactive.
And it's water reactive. Then when I stamped my leaf, I use the peeled paint archival, because if you stamp it with the Distress or the oxide, it's just going to fade into it, whereas the archival is more of a permanent ink, and so it's going to more sit on top. It'll still fade into it a little bit, but the archival, even the same color, shows.
Well, I think what happens is when you're using the Distress ink on the Distress ink, it reacts because it's wet, and it reacts with ink that's already on there, and the archival doesn't react with wet stuff.
So I still had to
really
heat it,
good, Teresa.
but normally you don't. Yeah. All right. So there is the this.
Okay, so there's the
There's
distress, the regular distress, and the archival.
So pigment inks are bright and opaque, which means you can't see through them as much. Pigment inks are finely ground particles of color that are suspended in a liquid medium, and they're slower drying because the pigment, the particles, sit on top of the paper. When you have the dye, it soaks in quickly.
Okay.
The pigment sits on top of the paper. You can use the pigment inks for embossing. And sometimes you can use the heat tool just plain. Like I told you that when I stamped on here with the oxides or any inks, it was still wet. So I use my little heat gun to heat up the drawing.
Right.
I don't have to emboss with it, just to heat a little bit, just to get it to dry if you're impatient. Or you can set it aside.
So you don't, yeah.
But so you don't smudge it.
Some of us aren't that patient,
Yes.
are we, Teresa?
So there are just straight pigment inks. We don't really have
a lot.
pigment inks.
I think the metallic ones.
Yeah,
you're using
we'll
are
talk
pigment.
about that. But the Tim Holtz oxide one is a hybrid kind of dye and pigment, but it's more like a pigment. So it's wetter, they're opaque, they're thicker. So when you stamp it, you're going to see the ink more on your stamp. And they can be heat embossed. They also have a little bit of a chalky look. So here you can see the difference. These are both aged mahogany. So this is the distress and this is the oxide.
Yeah, you definitely
So
can
you can
tell
see
very well.
Okay. Any questions, or are we doing okay?
We're doing good.
Am I confusing them enough?
No. They're actually, I think people like that you're explaining them.
So I'll show the Brilliants. Brilliants are shimmering inks, and they're a little bit faster drying pigment. They're still pigment, and they're archival. They can be used on glossy surfaces or ordinary surfaces.
And you can't, let me borrow that, Teresa.
Yeah, it's hard to see a little bit.
You can't see the shimmer, and I still don't think you can, but these are actually metallic.
Right. So when we're talking about brilliance, we're really talking about silver and gold and white. White is also a pigment ink, and Tim Holtz, that's how he started towards his oxide, is his picket fence, because he wanted a white, but you can't do white in a dye ink. Somehow the formula just doesn't work. So he made this, which I don't know what to call it.
I remember when it came out.
Right.
I think it's basically a pigment.
Yeah. And so then he made the oxides. But you're not going to find a dye ink in silver, gold, or white. These are always going to be a pigment. And this is what we have.
I like, because then number one, they show on dark paper.
Yes.
And you can heat emboss with them if you want to.
Yes.
And I really like that Hero Arts. I can't think of the name of it. Unicorn.
Unicorn.
I could not think of the word unicorn. But if you need a white ink pad, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, Picket Fence is nice too from Tim Holtz.
I should have stamped on a brown piece. Maybe I will and put it on there with the white. All right. So now we have the Versamark ink. And Versamark ink is a water-based ink that acts as a watermark or a resist, and you can use it for embossing.
Yeah, we're switching. So if you just wait here a second, I'm going to... You're welcome.
And sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I forgot to
Good
bring
morning, everyone.
So this is a Versamark. I thought I had some back here, but I can't find it.
Could you put this on me? I'm sorry, I just can't do it one-handed. Thank you, dear.
Yes.
Perfect. Now we're good to go.
All right. So Versamark is a water-based ink that you can use to resist, or you can use to heat emboss. So when you stamp it, can you see this, Katie?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like a shadow.
I do. So that's just stamped with the Versamark
That is
watermark.
just stamped. So the nice thing is that when you stamp it on a dark color, you can see it.
Oh,
so
okay.
let's do that.
Kind of reminds me of like if you get a paper and it has a mark through it, like a watermark type thing.
Yes,
that
it's
has
like
it
a
through it.
watermark.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use a craft piece of paper here, and I'm just going to stamp. And don't look at my stamp pad, but it's really soft and mushy. And then I show you. So I'm just going to ink it, and you can feel it when you stamp that it smooshes in, and that means it's wet.
Oh.
And I'm just going to stamp it again because
Okay.
you can see it a little bit. I didn't get it.
Yeah. Where's your stamp pendable?
Yeah. So there, it does a watermark. So it really works better on other colors of paper besides white. Maybe I'll put that on there so that you can see it a little bit better. Or you can heat emboss with it. So this is with the aged mahogany, and then I stamped it, and then I just poured my powder, and heated it.
Can you use the mark just by itself?
Yeah.
So you could just dry
Yes.
that.
It's pretty much dry, but you might want to use your heat gun on it just to make sure.
Okay.
Now the resist part, I probably should have planned ahead a little bit.
Oh, you know what? That's what we do. We wing it here. And you're
let's
using your
see.
archival cleanser.
Yes.
Cleanser, I see.
Yes.
You are the top cleaner of stamps, we have decided.
So it's supposed to be a resist too.
Oh. Okay, so she took her Distress Oxide and put it on there, and now she's going to rub it off.
Look at that.
Oh,
So it resisted the color. So the other thing you can do that if I want it to resist, I usually use a clear embossing powder over it, and then it'll resist.
It will resist even more.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I
you
love
can
that.
see that ink came right off because it's a resist.
That's nice. I
Yeah.
like that. It's a neat look. Very nice.
Okay.
I feel like I've jumped in the middle of it, but which I did. This is nice. This is nice.
The last ink I want to tell you about is the Stays On ink.
Yes.
And pretty much we just carry it in black. It does come in a few other colors, but I've found that pretty much I just use black. I used to have other colors, and now I just pretty much use black.
I do too. Yeah.
It's a solvent ink, and it's designed for non-porous surfaces like photos or slick paper, shrink plastic, vellum, and you need a special cleaner because the ink, when you stamp with stamps, guess what? They're slick surfaces. So the ink
so it will stain.
sticks to your stamp. So you need a Stays On cleaner if you're going to use it. And I don't use Stays On a lot, but sometimes there are projects where I want to stamp on something slick. Now this I stamped on a piece of acetate and just stuck it on there so you could see. It's not really made for paper. You don't really stamp it on paper, only when you have a slick something. And occasionally I have a slick something that I want to stamp on. And
a slick something.
A slick something, and I get it out and stamp on
You
it.
can remember Stays On starts with S, as does the Slick Surface starts with
right.
S.
That's right.
Yeah, because the other stamps, your Distress and your Archival, will not stay on
Right.
a Slick Surface.
Now the other thing that I should have put on my tag, I just realized that I didn't, is that when you stamp with
Teresa,
The
I just have
oxide.
to say, this just makes me so
yes,
happy.
you need to have your tins.
Yes.
And I do, we have labels, but I put white ones on my oxides and I have the colored ones on my regular.
Nice.
I know, but I want to put the colored ones on my oxides too.
Yummy.
When we get the next new color, then I'll probably go back and
All right. Do you think Stays On would work on photo paper?
Yes.
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 Yes, it will.
All right. So the other thing that I didn't tell you about the oxide inks is that it's going to show a true color when you stamp on darker paper.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
They're loving
again,
this review.
it's because the ink is on top of the paper. So it works really nicely on other colors, darker colors besides white. So here it is on the white, and there it is on the
It's a little darker on the white, isn't
yeah.
it?
But the regular archival ink is not going to show as red on the craft paper.
Because it sucks it down.
Right, it sucks it down in. Some colors are going to show, you know, some distress colors are going to show on darker colors, but a lot of them are not going to show. That's one of the reasons why I like oxides, but it really depends on what you're stamping on and what you're using. That's why I have a lot of both.
I forgot my question. Distress is going to soak down and not be as bright as an oxide. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Because the distress is more translucent and the oxide is opaque.
Gotcha. Yes. I like it.
All right. Any questions?
Not so far. It looks like you've covered everything from what I have seen. Yes. Since I
Well,
got here.
We'll have these little tags here, and hopefully this does some clarification for you.
They are enjoying it, yes. I think it's always good to review it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget, and then you have this, and I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah. That's what
It's a
it's
good
for.
one, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you use it for. So,
Absolutely. I love it.
okay.
All right.
Well, I know that you were all expecting Janine today because I said I was going to be here on
That's
Friday.
right.
And guess what? I don't work tomorrow.
Yeah, so we were
So-
like, oh, that won't work.
Yeah.
Can't have Teresa do a video when she's not even here.
So Janine will be here tomorrow. And what is she doing, Katie?
She's doing a fun flip album.
Fun flip album.
Yes, and
All
I
right.
have both of her projects in my head, but I can't remember which one's which. So I don't even.
Is it on the calendar?
Oh, it's called the Fun Flip Album. Yeah.
Fun Flip
hey,
Album.
Mary from Maine. I just want to give a big hug to you about everything going on in Maine today. So I thought a
yeah.
lot about you last night and today, and even had my husband look up where is York compared to where everything's going on. So big hugs to you, Mary.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. Anything else?
Nope. I
And
think
your gratitude, everyone was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yep, lots of hugs going out to
All
Mary
right.
and everything going on. So, all right.
right.
Thank you so much, Teresa. It was
We'll
great
see
to
ya.
see you, and we'll see you tomorrow.